resolutions asking the natural gas extraction companies to make public the external risk from the fracking. Are you working at all with any of the any of the fiduciaries for the public investment funds, the public pension funds, or are you working with the Center for Political Accountability, which is working in the shareholder resolution area and trying to get external standards for companies?
We think that there's a real opportunity with shareholder resolutions, and it'll be more and more interesting the better data we get. SASB is essentially undertaking this organization. We aren't doing anything directly except admiring and learning from the folks you're talking to. SASB is engaging a whole group that includes all sorts of people who are advocates, people who are scholars, people who are lawyers and accountants, people who are with corporations in developing industry by industry, exactly the way as it's done in FASB, what the data standards will be for example, environmental reporting. Because it's different for an oil company from a bank, so it needs to be done industry by industry. They have completed healthcare, I think, but the environmental standards in particular are the most evolved and the most crisp from the point of view of comparability and looking at companies. So I think probably the answer is yes. Advocates are really important to this process.
Damon, you had a comment?
Yeah, I think folks in this room should be aware that at the moment, the Securities and Exchange Commission is going backwards on these matters and took a very large step backwards over the holiday, which is, by the way, if you want to know when bad things happen in Washington, generally December 27th through 30th and the Friday after Thanksgiving are the key moments to watch.
Black Friday.
Right. It's like in the Soviet Union, they used to say that if you want to know what was going on, read the back pages of Pravda on Saturday. And there's something akin to that in Washington. So over the weekend, Mary Jo White, the chair of the Securities and Exchange Commission, scrubbed from their regulatory agenda, which is what they intend to do in the future, everything that was not mandated by either Dodd-Frank or the Jobs Act, and some things that were mandated by Dodd-Frank. Essentially, every kind of pro-disclosure and pro-investor idea that the SEC staff had been working on over the last few years was just taken off the table. The only thing that was left that was that's non-mandatory is a project to attack independent proxy advisors to public pension funds. And in case you think this is a coincidence, she gave a speech about 3 weeks ago saying that there was simply that the regulatory system was simply demanding too much disclosure from public companies, and we needed to have less. Now, I'm very deeply disappointed by this. I expected a lot better from her, and I'm told that the Commission may not really that she may not really understand the political meaning of what is going on here, and it's getting bad staff advice. It's really important that the Commission hear from investors and from people concerned about these issues, because there was an agenda that was started in the early days of the Obama administration for the SEC to bolster mandatory disclosures around what might have previously been considered as externalities. If the regulatory agenda that was released in the dead of night over the holiday sticks, we'll never see that. And the reality of the financial sector is that it's going to be very difficult to get the big mutual funds to get majority votes behind the shareholder proposals in this area, because they are vulnerable to them themselves. And so if the SEC doesn't do it, we're not going to get this information out there. And they have backed away under political pressure from the business community. And this is, after all, the Obama administration.
That's some turkey.
Well, I mean, you know, it will be thus if we don't act.